Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dragon's Tome. My name's Jack, and with me is my pal Rob. Say hello,
Hello.
Rob.
Hello.
And my pal Chopper.
Hi.
Say hello, Pat.
He did.
Hi.
He did say hello.
He went uninstructed. He took it upon himself where
I
you
off-roaded
followed
it.
directions nicely.
I off-roaded it.
Your punishments will be far less severe. We are doing a show called The Dragon's Tome, in which we read through Dragon Magazine from yesteryear, from 1 to I think it goes up to 400.
1,000.
And we pick out a couple things that we want to talk about, and that's what we're about to do. So we are doing 113. Look at that cover.
It's a nice cover.
It is a cover.
Nice.
This is Dennis, right?
This is Robin Wood.
Oh.
It's called What a Night for Apparitions.
Wow.
A little on the nose.
There's an apparition, and it is nighttime.
The apparition knight is giving the other knight a sword because his sword got broken.
Oh.
His sword's on the ground broken.
All right. That's a crazy hilt.
The one
And
on
do you
the
think
ground?
do you think there's a piece missing that sword?
Well, it looked like it shattered.
Because it would be very tiny if we put all the two pieces that we see together.
Yeah.
It looks like he's been through the ringer.
I don't see the other sword though. Where is the other sword?
It's in her hand.
It's laying with the point facing us, the pommel facing away, kind of a.
Which one? The broken sword or the good sword you can't see?
The good sword.
She's
Is it
holding
not?
it. It's
I don't
glowing
really see it.
in the middle.
I see the glowing, but I don't see an actual sword.
Well, it's because it's directly onto us, so it's all foreshortened.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
There's the hilt and there's the blade.
It's too advanced for my eyes.
Pat does have a 8-bit monitor, so what he's looking at.
Yeah, it's
pretty
all
flat.
squares.
It probably
Pretty-
should have been slightly on an angle instead of directly sideways, so it would have been maybe a little behind the guy on the ground. But
Also, maybe this is a pretty good reprint, but maybe something's lost in the scanning of the cover.
There might be.
I think
I don't know.
something's lost in the scanning of Pat's eyes.
Yeah.
Oh no!
That could be.
So we're still paying $3.50 for this magazine, but
Wow, that's because we get something big in the middle of this magazine. We'll get to it.
we've lost all the sci-fi. We're not going to see any more sci-fi anymore.
That's a lie.
Wow.
What?
There's a little
It's-
sci-fi, but we definitely
it's
lost
in
a
there.
section. There's a little sci-fi.
No,
not
I
much.
could have sworn we were not getting any more sci-fi. So yeah, anyone want to get this ball rolling by starting with their article?
Oh, well, Pat's wearing red.
That has never been established that had anything to do with any order whatsoever. So
It's true.
I don't know what craziness made you bring that up, but if Pat's been voluntold, Pat's been voluntold. I'm just wearing my
I know you're an elf.
Oh,
my little elf outfit. So
I thought it was your Mr. Freeze or whatever. Who was the brother? Heat Miser's brother called?
he
Is Heat Miser and
No one ever remembers the cold one.
no,
it
because Heat
Cold
Miser,
Miser?
he was the
Heat Miser and Cold Miser? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Put it in the comments.
It doesn't matter.
It matters to us.
Oh, okay. So, young Patrick, why don't we start with your first article?
All right, let's go to page 12.
It's dogs.
Welcome to Hades, baby.
That's Cerebrus is pretty sad
I know.
looking.
It's a sad. I mean, I thought the Cerebrus was supposed to be wolf-like, and these things look like just bloodhounds.
And he looks real depressed.
Yeah, they look sad.
You'd be depressed too if you're stuck guarding the gate to hell forever.
It's true. So, welcome to Hades by Bruce Barber. This is an exceptionally long article about the 3 layers of Hades.
Well, Welcome back to the plains.
There's a lot here for not too much. I mean, it gives you encounter tables, tells you all the layers are called glooms. Basically, the first and second gloom are roughly the same. That's where hell from Norse mythology and someone rat tree. I don't know who that god is or what mythos that god comes from. They reside in the second gloom, as well as the world tree. So, for a Greek mythology, Hades, there's sure a lot of Norse crossover in this thing is one thing I noted. Because the world tree, how do you say that? The world tree? Mr. Scandinavian? Yggdrasil. One of the Yggdrasil's roots leads to Niflheim from the second gloom, is in that gloom. The third gloom is where Hades and Persephone reside themselves. One of the cool things, game-wise, is that the River Styx is a dimensional and physical barrier, as well as an anti-magic shield. So if you fall into the River Styx, you're pretty much screwed. I guess the name for the third gloom is called Erebus. I don't know. And apparently if you eat anything in Erebus, you die instantly. So don't do that.
Well, you join Hades, like you're now part of the realm instead of being separate from it if you eat there.
Well, in the game terms, it's instantaneous death.
Yeah, but that's the legend,
in the mythos, yes. Yeah. But so this article is unnecessarily long because it goes through every freaking spell in the spell books.
Yeah, that was a problem.
And talks about the alterations, which is the bulk of this article. I mean, this article could have been 3 pages and would have been a fairly decent article at that point for me. But when you got every spell in the book, and most of them aren't unchanged, why are we listing the spells that aren't unchanged?
Yeah.
So I don't know. This was like 12 pages long with the spells. It's again, I feel like at this point we're just wasting space, and sometimes with some of these articles.
Yeah, or filling space is more the.
Or filling space is the word. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It started strong.
Yes.
It had what could have been maybe even a module, the way they discuss going to the places and how long it takes, and pretty laid out. But then it gets a little too, I don't know, verbose.
It does have stats for Orpheus at the end. Do you know who Orpheus is?
That's Persephone's love, wasn't it?
No, it's Sandman from the comic book Sandman. Oh. He's Orpheus.
I believe he's the one who gave the offer of a blue and or red pill.
That's Morpheus, which it's Morpheus too. Actually, they're both Morpheus, but this is Neil Gaiman used Orpheus as part of Sandman there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of information here if you wanted to use it as a world or a part of a world in a campaign. It works out, but then there's just a lot, like you said. There's just a lot that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, it is one of those articles. Like I say, you could have cut all that spell stuff. Why is that even?
I mean, you could have cut it down a lot because there's a lot of spells here that are unchanged. So there's a whole column here with only 2 spells that are changed.
Yeah,
and 2 of those or 3 of those 2 spells actually say see the other spell in the cleric area.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
and I didn't hate it, but it was way too wordy. It got too wordy, and I lost slight interest.
Well, you could just skip all the spell stuff, go right back down to afterward, and be done.
Yeah. So, good article. Yes, lengthy. Yes. Well, hard to get through.
Good
yes.
half an article.
Yeah, good half an article. But then you get to the part where it gets hard to get through.
Yeah.
And then you hit the spells.
Wow. That's what you gotta go.
A lot of good information. I'm not gonna say there's not any good information, but there's a lot of good information there, especially if you're not familiar. Which hard to believe that anyone that plays D&D is not familiar with the whole Hades mythology. Greek, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's more common now.
Yeah, if you've never seen Sinbad or Jason and the Argonauts,
or what's that game that
Claymations.
God of War?
Oh yeah, God of War.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's all I got.
Okay. Okay. Off to a good start for this September edition. Let's go to young Robert. What is your first article?
We're gonna jump to page 5. It's the editor's note here on the side by Mohan.
Mm-hmm.
Mohan, he talks about, well, pretty much he's getting ahead of all the criticism for a wilderness survival guide. Which he wrote, which we understand why it's so bad. We find out why it's renowned to be one of the worst first edition books. Yeah, he just really this whole thing is about getting ahead of people making fun of it for being rushed and not being very good. So he's like, well, you can't do everything. Well, you at least have a professional book be placed out, But we'll come. I think next couple episodes here, we're gonna have a lot more to talk about Mohan. So.
Oh, I haven't read ahead. I don't know.
Good.
Is his time limited?
Good. This is a surprise for you.
Spoilers.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, I didn't even know he wrote this, but it all makes sense now. So, yeah, if you enjoyed the Wilderness Survivor Guide, please comment below. But I doubt anybody will be commenting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd had it, but I don't think I ever used it.
It's got a great cover. I'll give it that.
If I remember, it looks like a Molly Hatchet cover.
There you go, Molly Hatchet for the win.
I liked the Dungeoneer Survival Guide better.
Yeah,
but yeah. Okay, well, we'll keep looking and see what happens. The Kim Mohan. We've seeded some plot twist that's coming, so we'll look and see what happens. Okay, so for my article, we're going to go to page 74.
74.
Yeah, this is one of mine too. This is oh no, is this one of mine? No, this is not one of mine. Sorry, next one's mine.
Easy as 1, 2, 3. Following these steps for an interesting PC. It is an interesting article, but more interesting is that he does lay out a system of 1, 2, 3 brainstorming, refining, and testing for making a PC. But and it's good. It starts with writing down a couple simple traits, and then expanding on each of those. His hypothesis is that if your characters are really bringing good role playing and good characters to the game, you're doing them a disservice by not giving them a world that feels as lived in and with as much emphasis on interaction.
That's a very good point.
So yeah, he starts out with writing down some quick one-word descriptors, then going back and like expanding on those with being a bit more specific. And really, it turns out to be about 5 points when you really go to it, because when it gets from the words that you've expanded into phrases, then you do little scenarios where how would this person answer? You work on how they would how their brain works and stuff. And in the end, I think it's pretty important what he's trying to do here, and he does it in a pretty reasonable, without being a lot of I don't know, it's done well, but to the point. The brevity of it being what makes it, I think, something that a lot of people could use.
Yeah, it's literally a page and a half. This is what articles should be.
Yeah, especially, right?
He doesn't go overboard. He just
gives you what you need to know.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you any kind of rhetoric.
Doesn't explain every spell that this NPC could have and how it would affect things.
Well, he does go into like little scenarios where a few scenarios where, like, okay, imagine this is the guy you made and he does something. But yeah, a simple system for making sure you're giving the quality NPCs that your players deserve. Okay.
Cool.
What do you say we go to number two? Second articles,
Oh,
people.
I thought we were
Let's
gonna
let's see
go
them.
do a number 2.
Yeah, I thought we were going to go to plan two.
It's Christmas time. We're gonna keep this highbrow. We're not gonna devolve
Oh yeah,
into.
this is the Christmas episode, isn't it?
It's
This
yeah,
is the Christmas Eve episode.
I
Christmas
am
Eve.
dressed like an elf, so there must be some reasonable explanation for that.
Yeah, you are like 3 steps ahead of us, Mister Fight.
Mm.
He's playing chess. We're just playing 3-dimensional checkers.
I'm playing 2-dimensional checkers.
Okay, that's some Hogwarts nonsense going on there. Um, Pat,
My turn. Page 42.
Ultima.
Magic and Morality, Ultima 4.
Never
This
played
brought
4.
back a lot of memories. This is a review by Mike Gray of the computer game Ultima 4. Ultima 3
Yeah, I
and
think that's the
Ultima
one.
4
3 is the
were
one
the
I think I played a lot.
first computer games that I bought for the Commodore 64 that I actually bought. I didn't borrow from someone. Any of those other games we played, Bard's Tale or Wizardry, any of those I borrowed from friends after they were done playing it. I went out and my friend had Ultima 3, played it at his house, and I said, I got to have this. And I begged my parents. And I did all like, I shoot all the horses in the barn.
Yeah.
I built the barn, whatever I had to do to get Ultima 3. And when Ultima 4 came out, uh, it was a great. So these are I find the penultimate games that led to where RPG games are going. Um,
These are more point and
Sierra,
click, right? Like weren't these ones like were they
no, you're
they
still
weren't
keyboard. You moved the guy, your character.
did you actually
Ultima
move?
3 was more simple. Ultima 4 got a little bit where you actually had a party.
Yeah.
Ultima 3 you were still a single guy, but you traveled, you got a quest, you figured out what you had to do. You had to visit towns, you had to explore the map. Ultima 4 got even bigger than Ultima 3. I think you had to hunt down gemstones to finish the game, and then had to figure out the puzzle at the end, how to put the gemstones in the correct order to get to the boss to beat him at the end. So uh, I think this is where D&D took it. The computer games that took D&D's core and put it into a video game in itself. Um,
Yeah, well after this it's like Pool of Radiance and those ones which are
yeah, I mean, I think Wizardry and Bard's Tale laid the groundwork. Ultima tossed it into. I mean, and Ultima is still a franchise today. I mean, what was that? Ultima Online was one of the big first MMO RPGs.
that was probably like 20 years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, but it was one of the things. But
yeah,
my
yeah.
point is, it's still Ultima, the franchise itself, just kept taking up the next level. And I don't know if they even have an Ultima. Is that even still online
I
working
don't
anymore?
I don't think so.
Because what came after Ultima Online was that EverQuest. Was that EverQuest?
Yeah,
I didn't
and
play any of those
and then
MMORPGs because
obviously World of Warcraft that
then World of
destroyed all
Warcraft took it
those.
to the next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
they pretty
played
much.
Ultima Online for quite a while, and then NHL 98 was it, or 95 came out, and I got into that, and I never looked back. So
Yeah.
I know vaguely of the Ultima mythos.
But yeah, I dabbled in 1 and 2, but then Ultimate 3 was where it really took off. And
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
the Ultimate franchise is one of the ones that I can say. Ultimate 4 is probably the first game that I can actually say I played till I couldn't see anymore.
It was the beginning of the kids staying up all night and dying in
Yeah, it
school
was
the next day.
Friday, Saturday. I mean, I had football, but after football or after the boozing, and I do 1 or 2 in the morning till 7 in the morning, maybe even 10.
Hmm.
This was when my parents thought I was a vampire because I was going to bed like at dawn and then waking up in the evening.
Can't say I haven't done that.
So And it's a favorable review. Mike Gray loved that, but who did? I don't know anyone who didn't like.
Yeah, at the
Ultima
time
4.
especially, they were like cutting edge.
Yeah. So, but that's my second article. I was kind of happy to see this, and I read the review, and I was like, oh, Ultima 4, and then just nostalgia came over.
Just
I cried.
over you.
There was a tear. I looked on the shelf, like the box was still there. I was like, oh, it's not there anymore.
Well, maybe it'll get reskinned and redone.
I'm sure you can find it on Good Old Games or one of
Oh,
those.
I'm sure there's got to be some kind of DOS emulator out there.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it was a DOS game because it was Commodore 64.
No, it was before DOS.
And Apple II. And Apple II.
It's pre-DOS. There you go.
I wonder if there's a Commodore 64 emulator.
I'm sure there is.
You can
still do it on your phone.
The Commodore 64.
Oh, I've been looking. There was a point at one point where I was thinking, well, you know me. I had it in my head that maybe I'll get a working
but
64 or 128.
They still make and sell them.
Oh, really? That they
it's the Commodore 96 now or something, but it's the same. It's all the same. They still make them.
It's for nostalgia's sake.
Nostalgia.
I guess so.
All right. Well, there you go.
Okay, Rob, wow us with your article choosing prowess.
Well, I'm gonna not that you can tell what this article says because the banner is unreadable, but page 38. It's The Tales People Tell by Thomas M. Kane.
Well, that was mine as well. So all I will say is yes, for some reason, other than they've also changed the font now to something that's unreadable for these magazines, but they've decided now that all their banners have the same gray.
It doesn't. The photocopying does not appreciate it.
It doesn't like it at all, and I couldn't even tell what this was.
Yeah,
and it only gets worse in the next couple issues.
Yeah. This article is all about trying to get folklore into your games to make your games seem wider and larger. You can also add clues to your scenarios, or misdirect or mislead PCs. It's pretty fun. It pretty much just tells how to. There's 3 different types of folklore. There's the tale of terror, wishful thinking, and funny stuff, and it explains how to incorporate all 3 of them into your games and what they can do for you. You can like have the one thing you said that you could start talking about these cursed items and stuff and describe items that the characters have and in hopes that they'll get rid of them thinking that they're cursed. But it's also interesting because it says character race can determine horror stories about what they're more afraid of, like certain things.
Oh, that's true.
It matters where you are. And you said that to make them, pretty much you think of a good tale or use one from our mythology and kind of run it through a game of telephone, so it's not quite true. It's like the basics gist of the story is there, but you don't want to be perfectly telling the story. It's supposed to be something that's been told over and over and over again and just become legend. So it's got a fun little article if you want to add a little character to, especially if you go into a town and some bard's singing about something, you're like, oh, it could be a hook to a adventure, or telling about something, a clue for the adventure you're on, or something like that, or a warning to what's in the forest. So, kind of fun little article about the folklores. So, once again,
it's world building. It's like you said, it can be clues. Every society's had folk tales since probably the dawn of time. You're sitting around a campfire talking, and is it real? Is it a story? Is it got a kernel of truth? You don't know. And to a lived-in world where your characters are in, that kind of thing will happen, and maybe, just maybe, it'll be helpful.
Yeah. At least lead them on like I said, you can use it to misdirect, or you can also lead them places. So. But interesting. It's a fun little article how to do all that. You give some examples at the end, which it was long. You didn't need to have those examples, but hey, what you gonna do? Got to fill space. There's no editors involved in this magazine.
There's 108 pages you got to fill. Yeah. And 7 articles.
There's 111, but we do know that 90% of them is no. I was gonna swear, but I won't. It's a dragon. So, yeah. So that's my little article.
And that was mine as well. So I might just, for the sake of time, have to open it up to anyone else. Dare, did you have the cojones to bring a third article?
I've got about 10 articles.
I got 17 articles.
Yeah. Okay, so ads it is.
Pat, what's your article? What page?
84.
What?
84, didn't we just go there? Cold Steel.
Cold Steel, baby. This is something that you guys might encounter come April. It's a whole new class of robots for Game World. Hunter class robots.
Murder
robots that kill humans. Or certain people names. People in elf shirts might get hunted.
How about muties? How about we hunt muties with them?
Oh, these are
racist.
This is the pure strain human robots. So yeah, it lists a whole bunch. There's a manhunter, which looks like a guy, I guess, and then a robot hunter, which is more like a tracking robot.
So you think someone watched Terminator and was like, let's add that to Game World?
Well, Terminator is what, 6 years now? It went 82. Yeah, so this is 4 years past. There was a T-800 in the Gamma World that they put in Dragon and Ares when that was still alive. A couple issues back.
Well, we do know pretty soon Rifts comes out and they take things wholesale from those skeleton robots that look just like T-800.
But that whole robot, and I can't even remember what they called it. You'd have to go back and other episodes and look. And it was verbatim, fake skin. You have to get through the outer skin before you can do damage to the robot inner metal insides. So
these are more like the robots from the future in Terminator.
Yeah, so these are just regular, and these are regular robots, not hidden. So most of these, in the Game World, most of them are just kind of out of commission, but you might activate them by accident, and then you can send them to someone. Hunt the pure strain humans on the side of the muties. So anything for more Game World stuff is always a bonus in my book.
I like the picture.
Okay. Rob, since I'll give you one
time.
more.
Okay, we're going to go to page 76. One roll to go. Tables reduce a handful of dice to just 2.
I actually thought this was going to be Jack's article.
I thought it was when he first started, but no, this one's really very, very, very useful. Little short thing. It's using binomial tables to turn fighting tons of people into easy rolls. So pretty much all it is you group enemies in 5, 10, or 20 and compare a target number at the top to successes at the side by the percentile roll you rolled. So that'll tell you how many successes so if there's 5 guys, you can have, if you roll really poorly, you can get all 5 guys hit you, but or good, imagine what side you're on. Yeah, it's just really useful to because you don't want to be rolling 20 sided dice for each guy's attack. Like, this is a way to do it real quick, real easy, especially for saves too. Like, you're shooting a magic spell at a huge crowd. This would be an easy way to do all the saves right away.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, fun, easy, simple, quite genius, and
very smart,
very useful. Like, I was like, oh wow, this is actually very useful and quick and easy. Larry Church, thank you, Larry. We appreciate you.
Well, put me down for the exact opposite thoughts on this than Rob, and it's shocking and appalling that the two of you thought that I would even deign to. I thought it was a messy bit of nonsense, but
why? You'd rather roll tons of dice?
Or you just think about it for like 5 seconds and go, okay, well, I'm going to group this, and this, and you say 5 people get this one roll, and you roll it, and it's a 20, and you go, well, statistically, that should not happen. it's then you're like, okay, well, this is now skewed so far by just one a simple thing that could happen. It doesn't. It's way too wild swings.
No,
Way
I
too
don't think
wild
so because
swings.
it's not like it's a curve. So to get like 5 hits is you have to roll quite high, like unless your AC is really low, but you have to like it's not a direct linear like everybody has the same chance to roll. There's a curve, so it's it it would be the exact same probably in the end as rolling a bunch of dice, like statistically. That's the thing.
That's too much math for me.
Too much math?
Yeah.
No. Just roll a goddamn die. Roll percentile dice. Pat, do you have another one?
I am out.
Oh, good. I got tons.
Tons.
Let's go to 82.
Okay,
Tons.
you get one more, but we gotta
No.
wrap this up. It's Christmas time. We got families. We
No,
got
that's why it's
things
going to be
to
a special long episode. Mini Magic. I'm amazed nobody talked about Mini Magic. It's people are doing Mike Sidwick's.
I left this because it's Marvel for you.
Wow, it's just he's using the Marvel minis from
Yeah.
to make dioramas.
That's
And-
why I left it.
with full backgrounds and like this is like cutting edge stuff. Like this is the
The
future
Spider
right
one's
here.
pretty cool, and same with the Venom.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of different scenarios with the kit bashed things to make dioramas, and it's cool. This like people do this now, and this guy is ahead of the curve. I think I'm pretty proud of that. So
he's got a hobby and he's sharing it, and
that nobody else is doing at the
obviously.
time. I don't think.
I think, but I think people were doing it, but they were doing more historical,
Oh, I'm sure historicals. There's always that.
doing a lot of World War II. Because I think even Mike was doing some World War II. Because this looks like the bridge side of an aircraft carrier, where Venom is.
Suspended from those ropes.
Yeah, that he just
It's
used
the
as a background.
helicarrier probably.
Well, or quote unquote the CV Enterprise. I don't know what the number it was. CV7, I think it was. Any historians correct me?
They will. Another thing is going to be on page, I think it's 8, the forum. Rules and reasons. It seems like they're the rumors of second edition are coming out, and they're getting ahead of it by being like, "Don't worry, it won't replace everything." They're trying to prevent all the harsh criticism, but the rules and reasons for the forum is that they've had to put new rules down that they're pretty much trying to prevent people from bashing all the new stuff that's coming out. So they're like, no, if it's not, if it's not, what do they call it, helpful in any way, they're not going to publish.
Did I bash second edition when it came out? I don't think so. I think there is it was the lull in my D&D playing when I was in college.
Second edition was superior
in every way,
almost every way. So like I don't know if
but these are people nobody likes change, right? They all think that their books are going to be garbage, and
I know, because when third edition came out, I was well knee deep into second edition, and third edition was coming out, and I really bashed third edition.
Yeah.
I don't think I bashed second edition because I had that 4-year break while I was in college between first and second.
But second edition, first and second are very similar. It's just an expansion on first edition. Second edition's adding everything together pretty much. Anyways, enough of that. We'll get to that later, I'm sure. My last one is on page 101, I believe.
Dragon Mirth.
No, it's on page... Sorry, it's on page... Yeah, 101. Oh, it's the thieves on the tightrope thing. And one of them sneezes and kills the guy in front of him.
Because he had his knife in his mouth, and
Gesundheit. He shot the guy right in the back with his knife.
And he's got snot coming out his nose.
I laughed and laughed.
The thing that kills me is the guy had 2 knives in his mouth.
No, the other one's falling from the other guy's mouth.
Yeah, the guy in front had a knife in his mouth as well.
It looked like it was coming. I didn't see the fall lines.
Yeah, it looked like it's stuck in his
wrist.
Yeah. No, it's his one that was in his mouth. So yeah, don't go on a tightrope with a knife in your mouth with a cold. That's what we've learned.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack, you can have the show back. I've got 4 ads. So
Oh Jesus!
How can that be possible?
Really,
We're already
because
at 57 minutes for this episode.
no,
there
we're
was
not.
not a lot. There
You
was not
people
a
need to
lot
be
of ads.
reined in. You need
We're
to be
at
reined in.
36 minutes. I can see the time. You're trying
Okay.
to rush through. We gotta enjoy it. Enjoy the process, Jack.
This is
So
Christmas. No,
we're a
people are
30-minute
on
show.
This
We're
is
30
Christmas
minute show, and
Eve.
we're already at 37 minutes.
They need to listen to something while they're wrapping gifts. This is what we're here for.
Painting minis.
Yes.
Sure.
That's what I do with these kinds of shows on. Okay. Pat, let's go with your first ad.
All right, let's go to page 19.
And then 19.
Speaking of Dungeoneer Survival Guide.
Great cover.
Now, my question is, have we seen this yet? Has there
Yes.
been an ad for Dungeon Master Guide? Because I don't remember.
I don't know if it was a full color one, but we definitely knew it was
I remember mentioning, but I don't remember seeing a full color ad.
Yeah, we might not have seen a full color.
I think this may be the first time seeing it in its full splendor.
And I do remember the book cover. It was great. I did have this book. I think I used this book more than I used The Wilderness. The Wilderness, I think, just stayed on the shelf.
Yeah.
Collected dust.
Well, the
I think
Wilderness.
the binding might crack on it still when you open it because it hasn't been opened yet.
It would probably just fall apart because all these books were renowned to be bad binding too.
Oh yeah, my Dungeoneer Survival Guide, I think, shattered, disintegrated at one point, and then the wind took it.
But yeah, the Wilderness one is a lot more like just all the stuff, the articles that we read about surviving in the wilderness and stuff. It's a lot of that
and
stuff.
Weather and all that stuff.
Yeah. It's like a lot of common sense stuff, and it's probably wrong. Where Dungeoneers had a lot more useful information, I think, for actual dungeon crawling. So
I don't believe I ever owned it.
No.
But I do remember seeing it in the wild. Like
one of our friends owned it for sure.
Had to have.
Yeah. I know one of our friends owned Wilderness because I looked through it once and it was just like, wow, this is useless.
I have Wilderness.
It might have been Jack's.
Yeah, it was probably Jack's.
Could have been. Okay, Rob, your ad.
Let's go. We'll go to page 25. Might as well go right to the meat. BattleTech. It's MechWarrior, the role-playing game.
I left that one for you.
It's the OG role-playing game with the rifleman on the cover, and every MechWarrior version of the like every edition had a different. It was the same like cockpit, but it was a different mech they were blowing up. But this is the first one, and it's the role-playing game in the BattleTech universe. So even they're getting into it.
So Pat, you could play as your clan, the Steiner, and Rob, you could play as your clan, the Merrick. Everything.
The Merrick.
Nobody's a Merrick. Come on.
He's a Davian. And then you could be Kurita, Jack. You could be a samurai.
He's definitely compelling.
He's definitely compelling. Yeah.
Look at the green he's wearing.
I don't know. I don't
with
know
his
what you're
subterfuge
talking about,
and spies. Yeah, definitely.
But I think that's a slight. I can just tell contextually. I can tell there's some.
Well, the Kurita wasn't a slight because I feel like you're semi-Japanese in the sense.
Okay. No, I'll take
Cultural
it.
appropriation, Jack.
Well, history has no meaning anymore. I just watched
Don't get into it. Let's not get
Monarch.
political.
Monarch, the show.
Yep.
I guess because of the Japanese are very in the production side of it, the revisionist history that goes on, they have no problem calling all the GIs that came back from World War II horrible names. And then they talk about how the Japanese were spreading love all across the Indo-Pacific and stuff. I'm like, my jaw was on the floor. The female scientist is walking around just preaching. She wouldn't. And I'm like, oh my God, your people were trying to genocide people. These guys saw the horrors of war. The writers are obviously in their 30s and never cracked a history book, but wow. Anyways, where were we?
You
were off on a rant about something that had nothing to do with the show.
Oh, 33.
Page 33. Yeah, I was going to do this one too.
Some magic, the dragon bone. Now, should have left it for young Patrick because he's been enamored with the Dragon Bone
I still
since
can't find one.
its inception.
That's affordable.
But I'm just saying that we went from seeing a small, probably
hand drawn picture.
Yeah, this tiny black and white. Now you've got it's a quarter page ad.
Well, it's actually a half page because it's Dragon Skin is the same company, so it's a whole half page ad.
Now it's
actually more than half page. It's 3/4 of it, or 2/3, because it actually takes up 2 columns.
25 bucks plus $1 shipping. I was never gonna I did not think that they would have been making enough money on the Dragon Bone to justify after we've been reading at a pace, obviously, 1 week to every month. So for years, this thing's been going on now. I am shocked and amazed for something that I don't remember ever hearing about
or seeing. That's the sad thing is that I don't think I've ever seen one, and I lived in the same state this thing was made in.
I was going to say you should call that number and see if can I get a Dragon Bone?
I should. That might be the thing. I might have to dial. It's a 312 area, so it wasn't.
Or just go to DBE Incorporated on Sun Hill Lane in Lamont, Illinois.
I mean, 312 at that point was still Chicago, so I think that was Cook County, which is the county I'm in. So.
There you go. Just go.
I mean, they've since split that. They've since split that 312 area code into 4 other zones, but.
Yeah. But there you go. So I think that's the only way you're going to do it. It's to find this person, hunt them down, and have them make you a Dragon Bone.
Yeah. Or just, do you have the schematics? And I'll just etch my own circuit board because it can't be that complicated.
I don't know. I think it's got some magic.
That's another option. With today's technology, you could probably, with some LEDs and some,
with my high school electronics too, learnings, I could probably etch that thing. I gotta remember how to etch a board though.
You could just ask ChatGPT to write the program to be exactly like Dragon Bone. I'm sure you could do it. So. You don't need a Dragon Bone.
But ChatGPT is not going to get me a Dragon Bone.
No, it'll just turn your phone into a Dragon Bone.
But that's still not a Dragon Bone. Then that's my phone being a Dragon Bone.
Well, you making it isn't a Dragon Bone either. That's just a replica. That's like owning a fake car.
But a replica is better than an imposter.
Like the same thing. Whose turn is it?
Okay, so that was my ad.
Patrick,
so my turn.
Oh, what?
We're going to go 10 pages down to 23.
Down?
This is going to be very quickly, Jack.
Dagger
so it's not going to hurt you. Dagger Spell by our good friend Catherine Kerr, who we thought was dead.
Oh, yeah.
So now, because this is such a horrible ad, I don't know if this is a book or a role-playing game.
No, it's a book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Catherine Kerr is a famous author.
Yeah. But we
Andrea
bespoke her name in one episode, and I wanted to bring to light one of her works of art.
Andrea Norton has given a seal of approval. That's big name there.
So
at the time of her appearance in Dragon Magazine, we didn't know what her credentials were at the time, but even what she became a pretty known author. Prolific author.
But I will say it's still not going to change my mind about the length of her articles. This thing were just a bit too wordy,
and they were always wrong. So,
well,
but Dagger Spell, I'm sure, is her wheelhouse, where she gets to write however long she wants and puts it into chapters.
Yeah, I'm sure they're good.
So,
joke is probably read some of these back in the day because read a lot of fantasy.
It probably is true. I probably read this paperback on a flight somewhere and then just left the book somewhere.
Dagger Spell.
There you go.
That's it for me. I'm tapped, Jack, so you can bring your blood pressure down a little bit.
Well, okay, Rob, let's do this then.
We're going to go to page 47. It's Road Striker. I was like, Road Striker, what's that? It's a supplement for Mechton to add mecha cars, armored bikes, personal armors, and advanced police and high tech combat vehicles. And that just, it's playing like Bubblegum Crisis or like Maspida to
I was gonna say Mosquito or Cyclone Suits if you were a Robotech fan.
gotta get this gotta get into Mechton because that'd be pretty fun. So
Yeah, I did see this, and again, this is one of those ads I left for you.
yeah, I'm definitely looking into getting more of the Mechton stuff because it sounds pretty cool.
Now you need to get Road Striker.
I never knew this existed, so it's probably
And
I have Mechton 2. It's probably incorporated right into Mechton 2, so I should check that out.
maybe if you look for the original book, you might find it next to a Dragon Ball. Let me know.
Yes, Dragon's Bone. Uh, Jack, I have another one. Just a quick one on page 17 is the D&D posters, AD&D posters or Dragonlance posters. A lot of these are famous posters, and I'm sure some of us had these on our walls. But we were just talking about the other time where they were letting the Dragon magazine people do their own posters, and they're like, "Hey, that's a good idea. Let's make our posters." So all of a sudden, we're getting D&D posters. So
Some of these are actually in Monsters Compendium as dividers.
oh yeah, for sure. Like these are a lot of
Like E, I think is one.
yeah, I've definitely seen that places. A and D are definitely Dragonlance. That's Tiamat on the one, and then the bad guy
Yeah.
from Dragonlance on D. I think might be Dragonlance too. But yeah, it's famous posters, and I thought that was cool. It's not even by like TSR though. It's Tharla Enterprises. So they must have licensed it out.
Yeah, these are only 2x3s.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty
it's
small.
hard. Acid-free sheet. What's an acid-free sheet, Jack?
Paper, if it lasts longer if it's acid free.
Okay, and it's lacquered for years of enjoyment.
So it must be yeah, pretty nice. Yeah, 2x3 is very small though. It's like you'd
Yeah.
have to get all 5 to get a poster. Like
Oh,
a poster size.
is it a 2 foot by 3 foot?
Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah,
All right, still pretty small.
yeah it's like a portrait.
It's not the big wall poster that if I'm sure some people didn't look at the dimensions and ordered away and looked at got the little tube and oh
$5 too. That's
Yeah.
pretty expensive back then for a poster.
It's no Def Leppard Pyromania album cover poster, that's for sure.
Yeah, I used to love going into like it was
Prince
before
Plus.
Walmart. Before then, it was like
Prince Plus was the one I used to get all my posters from.
they'd always have that like thing on the wall with all the I guess it was Zellers or one of those ones, but they have yeah all the posters. You can flip through them. They have like the sheets and you just flip through them all.
Mm-hmm.
I love looking through them. I bought many a poster that way, and I'm sure there was D&D posters. Some of these. I'm
And
sure
who was the poster girl
came
that
out.
everyone got? No, that was always like a workout girl. She was like the poster girl in like a leotard workout suit
No, there
in the
was
80s.
yeah, there was
She was blonde. I wish I could remember her name now.
what's her name? Samantha Fox.
Ooh,
She was definitely on a lot of posters.
she was just on Canadian Voice.
Was she still alive?
Yeah, yeah. She looks okay. I mean, she probably could have aged a little bit better, but
Wow.
she's gotta be
she's probably older than me, so she's got to
yeah.
be. And
Definitely,
I'm old,
because
so.
I remember her when I was a little kid. So
yeah
I'm all the odds, Jack. Let's bring this home.
okay well we did a thorough deep dive onto issue 113, the September issue, and I don't think we left anything on the table that
Oh, I had more to talk about. You cut me off though.
Oh,
and I'm glad I did because we have to get the holidays going now.
holiday.
Rob's got to go outside and shoot his eye out with his Red Ryder BB
You're
gun.
gonna shoot your eye out.
It's true.
And yeah, so I suppose we should wrap it up. Merry Christmas, everyone. And,
Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas,
We
and
will-
all the others.
all of them.
Happy Yule.
Everyone.
Happy New Year's, because we won't be back. Oh, no, I guess we will be back for New Year's. Next episode will be New Year's.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Uh-oh. I better dress up with a little festive hat. Anyways,
I hope you have 2023 glasses.
I hope you have, or like I said, Elton John glasses you can wear.
Maybe I will be just wearing no glasses because I'm not a nerd.
Oh, that's hurtful.
And on that bombshell, this has been the Dragon's Tome. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Sayonara.
Bye-bye.